Welcome to That Space. Happy Wednesday. It's the midweek check-in. I'm your host, as always, Caleb Salvatore, reporting from somewhere underground. We're laughing our way through the end of days, brought to you by Outlaw Streamers, Chris Baker Radio over on Live 365, and our friends over at Blood of Tyrants Wines. If you head over to drinkbloodofTyrants.com and you use that cute little promo code there. Did I say cute little promo code? I sure did. Based, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show. You'll save 10% off your order at the checkout. They got two types of wine, both red and white, and you'll save 10% off your order at the checkout with the promo code BASED at drinkbloodofTyrants.com. You can also get the Liquid Freedom Energy Drink, which is a combination, or excuse me, I got the wrong ad read. See, I go through this so often. It has 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 0 fucks given. All the upside of energy drinks and coffee with none of the negative, nasty downsides, along with all natural ingredients. Head over to drinkbloodofTyrants.com with the promo code BASED, B-A-S-E-D, like the title of the show. You'll save 10% off your order at the checkout. Okay. We got a lot to talk about today. Not a lot. Not actually. We got two topics we're gonna dive into here. And that's really it. We'll have I did confirm we'll have Monty Scott back on Saturday. He was not able to come because of some scheduling conflicts last week, so he's going to make it up to you this weekend. Monty Scott will be back Saturday. I'm not 100% sure if Mia will be there. She's got some family stuff going on, so we're going to try to make sure she's here. But we will have Monty Scott with us on the air this upcoming Saturday, 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, wherever you get your shows that we aren't banned. Well, we got two topics this week. The first one, there is a video game that is making the rounds. We never talk about video games on here because very rarely are they culturally significant. However, this one is unusual. It's unusual in the sense that, number one, it's a shooting game that I actually bothered to play. And I'm not one of those people that's anti-shooting games or anything like that. They've just never been of interest to me. But it's a shooting game, a first-person game like that I've actually bothered to play, and I'm seeing it spark conversation online. This is a game, it's been available on the computer for, I don't know how long, I think a couple of years, and it just came out to Xbox and PlayStation over the last couple of weeks. It's called Ready or Not, and Ready or Not puts you in the position where you are a SWAT team commander, and you've got 4 other guys with you. And it's not like Call of Duty where you get shot at and it gives you the arrow for what side you're being shot at from. You don't have the crosshairs. There's no map, nothing like that. You are totally on your own using your senses to figure out where everything's going on. It's hardcore, as realistic as it can get. So you're a SWAT team, and I'm pretty sure ex-members of law enforcement made this. So you're a SWAT team member, and you're going in to various situations. Sometimes you're raiding, and I'm not going to spoil the game for you, but sometimes you're raiding data centers. Sometimes it's armed robbery holdups. There's a couple active shooter situations. There's a situation where you got a guy who shot a cop and then fled up to the woods. I mean, all kinds of stuff where you're going out trying to find these people. And it's everyone says that it's one of the most realistic police simulator games out there. Now, the reason we're bringing it up on this show is because there's been a number of people that have played this game, and this is part of why I got it, because I wanted to see what all the hype was about it in media, that have posted TikTok videos and YouTube videos, and they were saying, you know what, I did not like the police. My entire life, I've been anti-police, and now that I play this game, I get it. I see what they're going through. And let me tell you, we got this game last Friday, and I was up playing it till like 2, 3 in the morning. It had me hooked. And I'll tell you what, they're right. They're right. Because it puts you in the position. It's not like Call of Duty where you got the map and it tells you the red dots like the hostiles. There's none of that. You can hear things. Sometimes you don't hear anything at all. There's innocent civilians there. And sometimes you'll tell these innocent civilians, to put your hands in the air, get on the ground, and sometimes they'll listen to you, and other times they'll stand there and curse at you. And they're not necessarily breaking any laws, they're just being dickheads about it. So they're cursing at you, they're reaching at their waistline, and you lose points if you shoot the civilian. So you don't want to shoot the civilian. The same way that you'd lose credibility with the public in real life. The police department would. That's kind of how the points play into it. So I'll give you an example. I'm playing a game, and I see this woman standing in the doorway, right? She's standing in the doorway, and I hear her when I'm walking down the hallway talking to a man, but I can't, off to the left, but I can't see what's off to the left of that door. All I can see is this woman. The man's voice stops, but she's still looking in that direction. I don't know if this guy's still over there, if he went further down the hallway or whatever the case may be. I don't know if he's armed. I don't know what the deal is with this guy. I also don't know if she's armed. So I got a couple options. My team's like sweeping the building, and I'm pointing the gun at her, yelling at her to get on the ground. She's saying, fuck you, shove your gun up your ass, blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, I have no idea what's on the other side of this wall. I'm pointing the gun at her from an angle. So I can go in and cuff her, but if I do, there's a chance the guy on the other end is still going to be there and he's going to shoot me. I can go past her, see if that other guy's on that side of the wall, deal with him, but what if she's got a gun? She's going to shoot me in the back. So it's a lose-lose. I'm yelling at her. We're in this stalemate. I'm yelling for my team members. They're not coming. She will not put her hands down. Next thing I know, she reaches for her waist. I yell at her again. She pulls something black out of her waist. I pop her in the head and kill her, as you would if someone pulled an object out of their waistline as they're screaming at you while you're pointing a rifle at them. And a cell phone dropped out, and I lost points. I didn't do anything wrong. Everyone in the world would have taken that shot, but I lost points the same way a cop would get dragged through the mud for that. And I think it puts into perspective what police officers deal with. There was another instance in this game where I walk into a room. We're raiding a meth house. I walk into a room. The closet door flings open. Guy comes at me with a knife, and I kill him. And I look down at his body on the ground, and it was a black guy. Not only was the guy's race not even remotely close to going through my mind in the 1.5 seconds it took for him to fling that closet door open and rush me with the knife and for me to shoot him and knock him on the ground, it was such a short period of time that my brain didn't even process the guy's race, what he was wearing, or even what gender he was until he was dead on the ground. It was all happened so fast. A split-second decision had to be made. And the only thing, I assure you, I'm assuming in real life it's probably the same. When the stakes are higher, then I have to restart the level, which is significant for a video game because these levels could take like 45 minutes. It's a lot of time. But when the stakes are, I'm not going to go home to my wife and kids, I imagine the adrenaline rush is even higher. You don't process the guy's race when he's coming at you with a knife. Now, in the real world, the cop shoots that black guy who comes at him with the knife, and the whole world yells about what a racist murderer he is, and why didn't you do this, why didn't you do that, you should have shot him in the leg. It's not an option. It's not like the movies. It's not John Wick. So I think everyone should play this game. I think if you don't like police, I think you should. And again, I don't play a lot of video games. It's not really my thing, especially shooting games. I've never been good at them. But I think this game puts into perspective, like nothing I've ever seen before, what police officers have to deal with. And I think it may not change everybody's mind on it, but it will allow people to cut them a little bit more slack. In fact, I would go as far to say I think it would be a good PR outreach, and I texted someone who's in PR with the Omaha Police Department about this last weekend. If the police departments could get out and buy like copies of this game and set up PR events where they have people do a playthrough with it so that they can see exactly what these guys are dealing with, that it's not like the movies. It's not like Call of Duty or Grand Theft Auto or whatever. These are unpredictable situations. Everything is different. People treat you like shit. Your life is on the line. I mean, yeah, you're frustrated that you got to go back and play through the level. Like I said, imagine if you don't know if this guy who's cussing you out when you're telling him to put his hands on his head and get on his knees and he's not listening to you, you don't know if that guy's going to kill you. Imagine the stakes then that you have to deal with. That's real life, man. They deal with this stuff every day. So it put it into perspective for me, and I'm not anti-police by any means, but it put it into perspective for me what these guys deal with. Now, there's a couple levels that are pretty heavy in some of these, or in this game that it deals with. Like I said, I'm not going to spoil it, but some subject matters that are rather taboo. I don't believe have been touched in a game before. And if you get it, you'll see what I mean. But I recommend everybody get it. Not because it's a fun game, which it is, but because it helps you empathize with police officers more and understand the struggle. I really think it would be, I really think that it would do a lot for community police relations if more people could play this game. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Oh, boy. I've been waiting to talk about this all week. What's going on here at Harvard? This is, I think they're still getting our tax dollars. I don't know. They want your money so they can fund this crap, though. Oop, that's not it. So here's the story. We have got a scientist from Harvard was looking at a telescope, noticed some objects out in the distance in outer space. He thought it, everyone else that looked at it thought it was a comet. It's the size of Manhattan. But this guy, this Harvard scientist, Avi Loeb, suggested that it could actually be an intelligently designed alien craft observing Earth for a potential recon mission to invade. And this guy, I don't know where he gets his info from, but he's telling us that the invasion could come as soon as November of this year. That's right. Max the credit cards out, cash out your 401ks, get that second mortgage on the house, and take that trip to Cabo, baby. Fuck it, Dubai, have a little fun. Right? Unless you're gay, don't go. They don't like you there. Sorry, I don't make the rules. Have a little fun, because we're getting invaded by aliens. Doesn't that sound fun? Here's what it says. NASA discovered 31 Atlas on July 1st, speeding through the inner solar system at 140,000 miles per hour, according to observations from the Atlas telescope in Chile. That's how fast I run when I get home and have to pee. It says, God damn, I fucking hate this app. It says the hypothesis in question is that it is a technological artifact, furthermore has active intelligence. If this is the case, then two possibilities follow. Dr. Loeb, Adam Droll, and Adam Hibbard wrote in a paper published. A paper! This is what these guys are doing. This is what these scientists are doing. They're not trying to cure cancer. They're not looking into how do we convert salt water into fuel. Nothing. They're talking about alien invasions. Now, here are the two possibilities. This is from New York Post, by the way. That these scientists have laid out, if it's aliens. They're not even considering the possibility that it could just be a rock. Now, these are some revolutionary possibilities here. And you're going to hear these and go, wow, they really thought these through. The first possibility are that its intentions are entirely benign. It's just observing. The second possibility is that its intentions are no bueno, and they're getting ready to invade us. They really thought those ones through. Well, they could have good intentions or bad intentions. Can we have another six-figure government grant, please? These are the type of kooks that want your taxpayer dollars at Harvard. That's what I'm talking about. The paper presented several anomalous characteristics of the object, which could indicate that it is a comet, but or it is not a comet at all, but instead a directed craft. One of the most puzzling observations is that it has significant non-gravitational acceleration whilst having no cometary outgassing. Yeah, I mean, and then it's a bunch of sciencey talk that neither myself nor my audience are going to understand, and now I'm getting ads for a Rolls-Royce on my screen, which obviously I've got my shit turned off, my off-app tracking, because they would know that I can't afford a Rolls-Royce. So, I told you that this was up their sleeve. I told you a year ago, do not put it past these people being the folks in power. If they feel their grip is slipping, do not put it past the people that have killed one president and tried to kill another to stage an alien invasion. No, we're not actually going to be invaded by ETs. Do not put it past these people, though, to do some type of fake alien invasion. And the reason I know this, we've covered it before, there was this whistleblower that came out years ago, said, hey, I was part of some top secret talks from members of the military-industrial complex and the intelligence agencies where they discussed provisions in the incident that they felt they were losing their control or their grip on power in society. And one of the ideas they discussed, they didn't have the technology at the time, but they discussed they'd stash it away in the event that they did get the technology and they did need it in the future. It's an ace they kept up their sleeve, is that they would use holograms, and who even needs holograms now when we have AI and we can make all these hoax videos, but that they would use holograms to stage an alien invasion to get people terrified and willing to hand their freedoms back over to the government. Hand over total control. Just please stop the alien menace. Ronald Reagan made a comment during the Cold War, kind of similar to that, where he talked about, what was the comment, what was the quote, and I'm going to paraphrase here because I'm going to butcher it otherwise, but he mentions that if we had a threat from an alien force, all the powers of the world would come together to try to defeat it. Well, what are we doing here? World's pretty divided. Country's pretty divided. You've got this internal power struggle between the elites and these supposedly non-establishment folks in the Trump administration. Might be time to pull out the Project Bluebeam. I'm just saying that the elites are losing control. This is the least amount of control the elites have had in our lifetime. And they're only, for the worst part is they're only 5 years removed from the most control they've ever had back during COVID, which, yes, was the closest this country ever came to fascism in any of our lives. And it probably always will be. So they had, remember, these people are sociopaths and tyrants, right? They had that feeling. They had caught the dragon, right? That they had been chasing for so long during COVID. They caught it, and then they lost it. Do you think that these lunatics are willing to just hand it back over? No, dude, we are ruled by some very evil people. Very evil people who are willing to go to any extreme to exert their power over you and I. That's no secret. That includes lying about these alien hoaxes. Now, I don't know who these guys are, these doctors that are in on this, but as we've seen, the scientific community has no problem lying to you and me about whatever it is they're trying to push, as long as they can get money and power, and in Dr. Fauci's case, notoriety from it. This could be the new COVID that they use to take your freedoms. COVID was the new war on terror, and so war on terror was the new Cold War, and so on and so forth, right? This could be the new COVID. Now, I imagine there would be, we were talking about it off air, Mia and I were, if there was like an alien invasion, there would be 4 types of people. There would be 4 types of people. The first type would be the folks who have just been lied to by their government so often that they don't even believe the aliens are real. And maybe the aliens are real, maybe it's a Project Bluebeam situation, but they don't even believe the aliens are real. So they're just going to go about their lives, and if they get vaporized, they get vaporized. That would be the first kind. The second kind would be the people who got like 16 booster shots during COVID and double masked for 3 years and all that crap, driving alone in their car to work, those kind of people. These would be the people that were absolutely terrified. They would go to whatever camp the government told them to go to, you know, so you can go be sitting ducks in large packs, soft targets for the aliens. Just absolutely terrified, screaming at other people that you're going to kill your grandma if you don't shelter in place at this totally not concentration camp from the aliens, stuff like that. The third type would be the redneck types that just want to shoot people, or that just want to shoot the aliens. Like that this is their excuse to crack off a couple of rounds at something that nobody's going to miss. And they didn't get zombies. Zombies was what they wanted, but aliens are a close second here, right? So they're thrilled about this for like a week. And then they realize how much it sucks to not have medicine, to not be able to go to the grocery store and get your food, to not be able to press a button and never see your shit again. Oh yeah, plumbing is one of the luxuries we don't think about. You know, they realize how much it sucks that your wife hasn't been able to shower or brush her teeth for 3 months, and now you don't want to have sex with her because she smells like she ate a dog turd for lunch. And then bathed in diarrhea. Okay. And then there would be the fourth kind, which would be the radical left lunatics who have found a way to sympathize with the aliens. And even though the aliens are here to either enslave or exterminate us, they would somehow find a way to make it so that straight white men were the oppressors of the aliens, as, you know, we're being vaporized indiscriminately in the streets. And we had this coming. Those would be the four main types of people. And of course, there'd be subcategories for all those. But those would be the four main types of people in an alien invasion. None of them are good. I would probably fall into that first category of people that just don't believe it because we're so used to being lied to. I think a lot of you probably would too. Well, drop a comment on YouTube or Rumble. What category would you fall into? What category are you going to fall into during the alien invasion? Now, here's a video of Jeremy Corbell from the Weaponized podcast. He's got a Netflix documentary with Bob Lazar. He's been on the Rogan show a couple times. This is a clip he had in a documentary show that he was in. Go ahead and check this out.
But the lie is coming. All indications.
Sorry, I want to clarify before we do this. Jeremy Corbell is a UFO investigator. Pull myself back up real quick. Jeremy Corbell's a UFO investigator. This is not, like an anti-government type person. This is someone who's looked extensively into extraterrestrials and just wants to know where it's coming from. This is his opinion based on government documents that he's seen. And this guy's gotten into some shit if you look into him. So this is not someone who's necessarily sympathetic to my ideology and my opinions on this. This is what he has to say. This is a guy who stands to profit a lot of money from extraterrestrials actually visiting this Earth and it being confirmed by the media. Keep that in mind.
But the lie is coming. All indications, like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe. It's nuanced, how they explain that, the nature of that threat. But that 100% is the lie you are going to be told. You even got a date. People have been whispering a date for a long time now. I know where that lie comes from. I know specifically what document from the 70s initiated the idea of that lie. A classified document. That is the lie you will be told. You're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. That's the lie. Maybe I'm wrong.
Lies, 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 lies! Lies, 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 lies!
So that was from January of this year, of 2025, where he says on the record, we're going to be told that there is a craft on its way to Earth. Now, the year he quotes in that interview, if you watch the full thing, it's on Twitter, is 2027. So November of 2025 would be a little bit early, you know, but maybe the aliens, they don't operate on CPT. We don't know what the story is with the aliens, what type of time they operate on. I love how the guy who doesn't even, the scientist though, that doesn't even know whether or not this is just a rock, is speculating that it's not only that it's aliens, but what the intentions are and when they're coming. Oh, they could be here as soon as November. Have you called them? You've been in communication with them? Has anyone tried to be in communication with them? No? Okay. Then maybe we just chill for a little bit. Now, here's something that is scary out in space. As I saw today, there is an asteroid that's headed toward the moon, and it's going to have a 4% chance in the year 2034 of colliding with our moon, which would obviously be catastrophic. Would cause a meteor shower here on the Earth, and everyone called Trump crazy. It wouldn't be like a mass extinction event, but it wouldn't be a good deal. But everybody called Trump crazy, and they made fun of him when he said he wanted to establish the Space Force, when it turned out the Space Force was something that the Air Force was already doing, but he was going to dedicate an entire branch of the military to it. Now, what they want to go out and do is they want to go out and they want to deflect asteroids and prevent things like that from happening. We're not talking about Halo 3 or any crazy kooky alien Art Bell conspiracy theories. This is a legitimate practice that could be used appropriately for national security, for world security. Fuck national security. To protect the world, and people made fun of him for it. But back to the alien invasion. They've been slow rolling this alien thing for quite a while. We've been covering it. Don't you find it a little weird how the demeanor toward it has suddenly changed in the mainstream? I mean, I mentioned Art Bell earlier, who's one of my heroes in talk radio, but conversations about UFOs for the longest time were shelved for late night talk radio. 12 a.m. We all know the rhythm, right? You know, you're driving home from poker night or whatever the case may be. You flip Art, or the late shift, you're a truck driver, whatever. You flip Art Bell on and you give him a listen, right? It's interesting. It keeps you up. It was better than just the normal 1990s conservative talk radio host. You damn-a-dums! It was entertaining. It was unique. People liked it. But that was all you got. That was the only place you got to hear about it. That and like really obscure internet forums back in the 90s. Tabloids, the National Enquirer or whatever. Then all of a sudden, the History Channel starts running this show called Ancient Aliens. And they get really into it. And they got a couple other ones. And it slowly starts to become more mainstream. You start to see more and more movies about humans making contact with aliens, not the occasional ones. I'm talking major blockbusters. Like Independence Day would be an example. Alien versus Predator. There's all kinds of movies, right? What was that? District? You know what I'm talking about. It was kind of a weird movie, but it was pretty big when it came out. So it becomes more popular in media. Then all of a sudden, the Hillary Clinton email leaks come out, and we find out that the Clintons and Podesta are obsessed with UFOs. They were so obsessed, they were in contact with Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 talking about UFOs. And it's kind of like, why would the Clintons, Bill Clinton was president in the 90s when the UFO craze kind of started to sprout up from the ground and late night talk radio. Why would they be so infatuated with UFOs? What did they see that made them go, I've got an unquenchable thirst for knowledge surrounding this topic, and I need to know more? What happened with them? Then all of a sudden you start seeing these videos come out from dash cams from Air Force pilots and testimonies from Air Force pilots who are of sane mind. They don't have PTSD or anything like that. They're just coming out saying, hey, I got chased by a craft. I don't know what I saw. It wouldn't respond to me. It moved in a way I've never seen before. I don't know what it is. That now you've got CNN covering it. We played a clip on the show a couple months ago. I believe it was MSNBC or CNN, one of the two, where they're talking about a testimony before Congress where a former Air Force official brings up the fact that they retrieved, and I quote, multiple out of this world crafts built of materials that were out of this world containing non-human pilots. Before Congress, this guy says it. You've got Anna Paulina Luna, who's a congresswoman from Florida. She's a Republican. There's a couple others, but she's the one really spearheading this. She's talking about it. She's making UFO disclosure one of her central issues. Could you imagine a member of Congress making a key part of their platform and a significant portion of the work they're accomplishing in Congress 20, 25 years ago? Could you imagine them making it UFO disclosure? They would be one and done, laughed out as a kook. Now nobody will touch her. Why? Don't you find it? And I don't think she's in on it. I think there's people feeding her information. I think you've got all types of people. I think you've got members of our government that are fucking with these Air Force pilots. I think they've been doing it for a long time. They've got these test crafts that are decades ahead of anything. I mean, look at the bombing on Iran. They use technology that a lot of people didn't even know we had. They've got crafts that are, or they've got military technology that's decades ahead of anything we even know we're capable of here. Why couldn't they fake something? Why couldn't they fuck with our pilots? Why couldn't they feed bad information to members of Congress and media? Why couldn't they use patsies to go out and give false testimonies? Or feed real members of military documents saying these are legit that are totally fabricated to get them to go out and testify upon the documents they saw in Congress? Why couldn't they do that? Honestly, if you're going to ask me what sounds more believable, the fact that we're going to get invaded by aliens in 4 months, or the fact that our government conducted a massive conspiracy to lie to the American people and scare us into submission, I'm taking the latter every time because that's happened on numerous occasions already. Alien invasion, to my knowledge, hasn't happened yet. I have to go based on historical precedent. The historical precedent of our government lying to us is far greater than that of us being invaded by extraterrestrials. It's like I said, if you were a CNN anchor and you ran 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and you ran a serious primetime news story on extraterrestrials and crafts from out of this world with non-human pilots, that would have been your last day on air. They would have relegated you to some minor consultant or correspondent job. You would have taken a massive pay cut. Your career would have been over. If you were a member of Congress 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that decided that UFOs and aliens were going to be the hill you died on, like I said, you would be laughed out as a lunatic. Your party would cut ties with you. Nobody would want anything to do with you. But for whatever reason, they stand idly by while she does that. The same establishment that dismissed this as laughable for the last several decades. Do you want my honest opinion? Do you want my honest, nuanced take on what I think is going on here? Why I think they've done a 180 for so long. I think there's a little bit of truth to both sides. I think the reason that they were so, like I said, anytime the establishment comes out and they just dismiss anything like they did with Pizzagate, like they do with the conspiracies about the Vegas shooting, anytime the establishment comes out and just dismisses something outright and they're in lockstep with their talking points, like they were with UFOs for decades, they're lying to you about something. You may not have the whole truth, but you've found a little bit of smoke, and it might lead you to some type of fire. It may not be the fire you think you're looking for, but it may be some type of fire nonetheless. I think we have been visited by something that our government can't explain, whether it's aliens, whether it's angels and demons, interdimensional beings. I don't know what it is, but I think we have been visited by something that we cannot explain. However, I do not believe that what the pilots are testifying before Congress or the congressman and media members that are bringing this issue to the forefront. I do not believe that that is actual evidence of extraterrestrials. I do not believe they would let them have that. I do not believe any of the people that have ever seen one up front are still alive for various reasons. I think people are being spoon-fed information right now, not necessarily in the past, but right now to cause a panic. In the past, they didn't need aliens. In the past, they had 9/11. They had the Soviets. They had all kinds of things that they could use to rile people up and just keep them a little on edge and maybe willing to hand over a couple of those pesky little civil liberties that you don't need all that much to the federal government. The problem is now, after COVID, a lot of people woke up to the bullshit that goes on in this country. And they go, oh, they really have lied to us time and time again to steal our freedoms, haven't they? It just took something as egregious and ridiculous as COVID, this virus with a 99.99% survival rate, for everyone to wake up and go, oh, you've been lying this whole time. You tried to keep me locked up. You ruined people's businesses. You killed far more people than you saved with your lockdown measures. And don't even get me started on the vaccine. Over a lie. You got American kids killed in Iraq over a lie. You stoked the fear, including making several fake bin Laden videos with CIA operatives, that's on record, to keep us scared and to keep public support up for the war so you could keep funding it. That was a lie. You lied us into Vietnam. And the list goes on and on. So a lot of people started connecting the dots, and they can't be lied to as easily anymore. And that's why the establishment's willing to try something as absurd as an alien invasion hoax to regain control. And that, ladies and gentlemen, they, thems alike, has been our show. We will see you on Saturday with Monty Scott if the aliens don't get here early. They're already ahead of schedule by like a year and a half, 2 years. So if the aliens don't get here early, we will see you fine folks on Saturday with Monty Scott coming in to talk all kinds of shit. Cheat on your taxes, not your spouse, and stay based.